Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. No surprise here. I hope there's no surprise there either. But hey, if there's a surprise, I will give you this information. And that is, as I said many times before, and I'll show you when I said it the first time, there is U.S. contractors or personnel, NATO personnel, operating the air defense systems of the Ukrainians in Ukraine. That is Patriot systems and HIMARS. This is according to the Russians. First time when I heard this, that I can use it as an argument, because if I would say, yeah, I think they are 99% certain they are operating NATO troops in disguise, being over there saying that these are Ukrainians, if I would have said that, you might have said, hey, how do you know that? And I could say, well, it's confidential. And you should believe me, as you probably, and I hope not, believe FBI, CIA, NSA when they come in front of a commission and they say, we can disclose our sources. But you got to believe us. Okay, so let me show you. This is a video I made a long time ago, September 5, 2022. My friends, and I said US contractors operate HIMARS in Ukraine. NATO officers are Ukraine's, and I said over there, let's see what the hell is over there, are Ukraine's general staff. This was according to Colonel Douglas McGregor, the retired US Army colonel. But I used the colonel only because I needed a more legitimate, recognized voice, because they didn't ban him, they wouldn't ban me if I was saying what he said. Therefore, I used him as being the voice of C. I just confirmed that because I knew it's like that. Why? All right, so let me show you. You don't have to believe me, but please pay attention. Within 4 years after this war ends over there, regardless what the outcome will be, there will be an order given, not like, hey, you got to do this, an order given for books to be published by some. They will become bestsellers. If I publish a book, maybe better than the bestsellers, there's going to become a bestseller, because only certain people are allowed to become bestsellers, the ones that push a certain kind of narrative. The other ones have to publish, like me. I published 3 books, here and there. You're not going to be a bestseller. Nevertheless, that's the way it works. Let me show you this article from Russia Today. Russia Today. This is from the 19th of February 2024. Today, Monday, right? Is it? Yes, it is. Undercover NATO personnel fighting in Ukraine. Russian general claims. Now you obviously can say, I don't believe him. I don't have to believe him. For me, this is a confirmation, okay? For you, maybe it's the news, you don't believe him. I don't have to have Colonel General Sergei Rutskoy to tell me that. I just use it because these guys, now they come and tell us like that. And let's see what's going on. Let's find out what kind of evidence these guys have. I don't need any more evidence, personally. Western specialists operate Kiev's air defenses and rocket systems. Colonel General Sergei Rutskoy claims NATO soldiers are fighting against the Russian army in the Ukraine conflict disguised as mercenaries. Mercenaries being volunteers, but they call them mercenaries. A senior Russian defense official has claimed, I said many times before that how these guys are going to do it, they're going to come to Poland as US military. In Poland, they take the uniforms of whatever country they come from off. They take the Ukrainian uniform or whatever uniform as a volunteer. They're going to take a little picture, okay, or like that or like that. And after they take the picture, they're going to be volunteer, and it's going to be volunteer Tom Jones. Put it over there, and when he gets killed, the Russians get it and say, oh, he's a volunteer. Okay, he was a volunteer entering from Poland. Before that, he was an active member of, I don't know, Navy SEALs or Green Beret or something like that. I'm just saying, you're going to find out these things within 5 years after the war is over. And then you're going to say, oh man, yeah, I should have listened to that guy. All right, let's move on. So, It says here, a senior Russian defense official has claimed, days after Moscow dealt a major blow to Kiev with the capture of the key Donbas city of Avdiivka. Ukraine's shelling of Russian civilians, a significant part of which was carried out from Avdiivka in the years prior, is happening at Kiev's behest and with the tacit consent of Western states. The deputy head of the Russian General Staff, General Sergei Rutskoy, told Krasnaya Zvezda newspaper on Monday. The US and its allies pump Ukraine full of weapons and provide it with communication services, that's again a given, and intelligence information, given, but some of the equipment requires qualified Western personnel on the ground. That's again a given. You can't train some Ukrainians in 6 months or 4 months to be experts on HIMARS or on Patriot. That's the first one. The second one, the Americans will not give, the way they consider them, in a certain way, the Ukrainians access to their Patriot. Romania and Poland has stations of air defense systems, American. The Romanians are not operating there, are not allowed nearby those things. They are kept far away from them. It's not the Romanians who are NATO member states operating those things, but the Americans. And you're telling me the Americans were going to give to the Ukrainians to operate them? And the Ukrainians can take it and sell it or give it to the Russians overnight? Are you crazy? That's top secret. That's national secret. They're not going to get Imagine that gives it to a unit of Ukrainians. And those guys decide one day, with all those 5 trucks and whatever equipment they got, cross to Russia. Communicate with the Russians and give it to Russia. Can you imagine? They screwed up the whole American air defense systems forever, or not forever, for the next, 7, 8, 10 years until they come with something else. Because the Russians will open, okay, thank you very much, we already knew. Do you think they take this chance? I guarantee you not. So these 2 reasons should be more than enough, than 100% evidence that they will not allow some Ukrainian allies to operate those systems. I mean, if you believe that, I can't make you, believe what I said. But wait, 5 years, within 5 years. I said 5 years because usually it's about 3 years. And I'm quoting, NATO soldiers disguised as mercenaries participate in the military operations. No surprise here. They control air defense systems, operational tactical missiles, and multiple launch rocket systems, and enter into assault detachments. Rutskoy said, NATO officers directly prepare military operations for the Ukrainian armed forces. It's exactly what happened here. Remember this one? That's the one I used, right? US contractors operate HIMARS in Ukraine, and NATO officers are Ukraine's general staff. Colonel McGregor. Go and watch that one if you want. If you don't, anyway, let's move back here. In mid-January, the Russian Ministry of Defense announced it had killed over 60 foreign fighters in a precision strike, of which the majority were French speakers. Although France subsequently denied that any of their armed forces were in Ukraine, the French defense minister acknowledged that some French nationals went to fight as volunteers and claimed that as a democracy, Paris can stop them from doing so. Are you going to sanction them when they come back? Oh, unless they fight for the Russians. Oh, okay, my bad. I just want to make sure that we cut the shit right from the beginning. According to the Russian Ministry of Defense's estimates, more than 5,900 foreign mercenaries have died in Ukraine since the beginning of the conflict in February 2022. The Ukrainian army suffered we're not going to go into that one. Kiev suffered colossal, got it. My point is this. They will keep saying this. These guys will keep denying. That's what they do. But then you're going to find out, like you found out in Vietnam and how you found out in, Korea. The Americans only have some military advisors, and they were actively fighting. So, forget about it. These guys don't do anything that has been done before in warfare. anything. They might do it with a different flavor, more technology, but other than that, they will do the same tactics. Why? Because it's about winning. It's not about, Geneva Convention. Really? As many say, let me do the thing and then I'm going to write the history for you. Look at the Second World War. Look at the one of the best examples to see how things are done. Look at the Nuremberg trials. I'm not here to defend anybody. I'm just giving you this. Go and read books. And you're going to find out how those Nuremberg trials were conducted. Now, if those Nuremberg trials, the way they were conducted, would be, let's say, you get Clinton, you get others over there, they would kind of have a certain kind of bad ending. Why? Just read. That's all. Just read. I also told you go over the last battle. I think that's the way it's called. Nuremberg trials. Nuremberg, the last battle, by the historian David, a British historian. Obviously, he's a bad dude. Obviously. Anyway, here he is, my friends. Thank you very much for being with me again today. They will bring even more. They will bring in even more, and they will say, well, those are volunteers. It's written on the paper. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.